Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you. Welcome. You know, here in the state of Florida, tourism is such a large part of our economy. It's actually the #1 driver of business, agriculture being second. So it's very important not only to the state of Florida, but to the Gulf Coast area where we've had to endure hurricanes, oil spills, and other disasters. We're going to be talking with a very successful entrepreneur today. Ray Land is on the show. Ray Land is one of the original biz kids from PBS, and he's actually was on Newsweekly 25 Under 25 and Inc. magazine 30 Under 30. And we're going to be learning a lot today about young entrepreneurialism, what it takes to make it in the industry of tourism. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Come experience Nolan's. Savor award-winning steaks, Greek-style cuisine, fresh local seafood, and an extensive choice of wines. Whether you'd like to reserve the large private dining room, enjoy a meal on an outdoor deck, or rock the night away in our lounge, Nolan's now celebrating 25 years of exceeding your expectations for casual fine dining, live entertainment, and dancing nightly.
When visiting Gulf Shores, Alabama, make sure to visit the Gulf Coast Zoo, home of the little zoo that could from Animal Planet. Get up close in our petting zoo. Enjoy our unique animal encounters. More than 300 monkeys, bears, reptiles, big cats, parrots, and more call Gulf Coast home. Come on, go wild at the Alabama Gulf Coast Zoo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm here joined by the lovely Mary Kay as a co-host. Mary, how have you been?
I'm doing very well. How have you been?
I've been great. I was sick, but I'm feeling much better. I feel like I haven't seen you forever. We haven't seen each other.
I know, you were out of town for a while. I think the last time we've really spoken was when you came out to the Grand Lagoon Yacht Club, and there I was up there singing, and
yes.
You didn't even recognize me.
What do they call you, Blondie and Clyde?
Blondie and Clyde.
So many viewers don't know this, but she's actually part of a group. You and your husband, who's
yes.
a phenomenal musician, Blondie and Clyde. And so on the way home, I didn't even know you were singing, I have to admit. But I had a rough day, and the yacht club was on the way home.
Right.
And I popped in to have a drink, and of course, once you go in, the Commodore is like insistent that you
wonderful guy.
have a drink with
Such
him.
a cool
Phenomenal
guy.
And then I saw this real pretty blonde singing, and I was like, and then she waved at me, and I'm like, there's got to be a catch. Oh, I know her.
Yeah,
but you guys did an amazing job. That was I had to cut out a little early. But that thing really goes.
I know, all night, man. They would stay all night. In fact, when I left to go home, Clyde stayed there and played quite a bit longer.
Yeah, you could tell he just loves music.
He does.
Mean, he just.
Yeah.
So you guys were phenomenal. But
we'll be there again in 2 weeks. You need to come back.
2 weeks, the Grand Lagoon Yacht Club.
That's right. Blondie and Clyde.
Blondie and Clyde. Check it out. Yeah. You guys, anywhere people can follow you?
We have a Blondie and Clyde Facebook, but I don't stay up on that very well.
So if you friend request, you probably got like 200,000 friend requests.
Yeah, I know, and I never look at it.
She's so nice. How come she doesn't respond?
I know. Life is busy when you have little ones.
That's true. I know all about that.
As you know,
yeah.
yes.
Well, we'll check you out. I'll have to come by. And as you know, I was out of the country, and it was a rough trip. I got sick the day we were heading over. We had plans to go to Venice and Rome and Germany, and we wound up getting into Germany, and then I pretty much was in bed saying, I gotta stick it out.
So is your wife like me, where she doesn't act like she's angry that you've ruined the whole vacation, but inside she's like...
At first, she was like, so are you coming? And we have like Gerhardts and, all these real German, and she, are you coming? And I'm like, I would love to, but I can't. It wasn't great. But after a while, I think she felt sorry for me because she realized I wasn't faking, and I was carrying
really
like 3 packs.
Oh,
it was rough. And the weather is not favorable this time of year, so it it was kind of a rough trip, but it was actually a really good time, and it gives us an excuse to. My wife said, "Okay, well, we can just go back next year."
Go back, exactly.
So now I gotta do another trip.
Yes.
But it's good. I'm glad to see it. It feels so good to be home, and I'm so fortunate because we froze over there, and then we come back, and Margot, who you know, actually Facebooked and said it's turned so cold here. You know?
68
And I'm like,
degrees.
you got 68? Is that all you got?
No, I think it did get in the 40s, but I have friends in Illinois who are absolutely,
freezing. Well, I come
bundled
back at
up.
75. I got
Yeah.
the doors open. I'm driving over the water, and I'm like,
We're blessed.
why would I ever move to Germany?
I know.
But I love all those German viewers. I mean, Germany's amazing.
Especially the beer for breakfast, right?
Yeah, that's another story we won't talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
You know, I'm really excited about our guest tonight. Very young, successful entrepreneur. And a few weeks back when you were gone, we had another young entrepreneur on the show named Sam. Started a business when he was 13. He's now 15 and doing business all over the world. Really phenomenal guy. And I had mentioned I've been watching this show called Biz Kids on PBS. And in my opinion, it's like the most entrepreneurial thing on television because you got these kids that are learning how to start a business, and then they'll do skits where they're like in a classroom teaching other kids how to write a business plan,
Right.
how to write a profit and loss statement. I mean, stuff that I run into, you know, adults that struggle with all the time, you know,
Sure.
and they break it down really simple, and it's refreshing to see how open-minded kids are saying, "Oh, executive summary, it's very easy."
I need
you
to
know?
watch that.
Oh, it's I'm telling you,
Yes.
for a you know, a starting point, it's such a great platform to build kind of an entrepreneurial education.
Right.
And I've been watching this show, and I actually reached out to Biz Kids, and I've been speaking with Jamie, who's been amazing, and sent us our very own Biz Kid, really successful guy. Well, we actually have a clip here from Biz Kids. Let's take a look real quick.
I'm Ray, and this is how to get a job at Fabulous.
Be fabulous, get a job.
So when I was in high school, the motor coaches that we used were old, they were raggedy, they weren't very fabulous. So I had an idea when I was a junior in high school that maybe one motor coach would be a good idea. My very first employee was Larry.
I've been with Ray from day one until now.
Can I get some Grey Poupon in here? The biggest important factor of our service is having excellent employees that go above and beyond to provide extremely good service. We treat our customers like guests in the home. So at Fabulous, because we have such outstanding employees, we've been able to grow our business from just one motor coach to about 50 vehicles. If you want to get a job, it pays to be prepared.
Well, hey, that was great stuff, and I also want to give a special thanks to Jamie over at Biz Kids for providing that. Actually, young guy, and he actually flew here private and with his own pilot, and they had a win.
Oh, nice.
And we were glad that you know, we finally got him here. But I'm excited. Please give a warm welcome to our guest tonight, entrepreneur Ray Land, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Ray, how are you?
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Now, Ray, I'll tell you, I know you had trouble getting here, my man.
Believe it or not, we didn't have trouble, but we did have that wind.
I love that you're so optimistic.
Good attitude.
So you guys hit a
Yes.
wind, and we ran a little late.
Fair enough, yes, it was a headwind. And as you know, sometimes you get a tailwind and sometimes you get a headwind. And when you get that headwind, you just have to put your head down and keep going.
Yeah.
You just have to keep moving forward.
Yeah, recently we had taken a trip to Africa, and I think our trip there was 15 hours there and 17 or 8 hours home because we hit the headwind.
Yes.
Right? Slows everything down, but there's not much we can do about it. Now, you're a young guy. Currently, tell us about how old you are, a little bit about where are you from?
Well, I'm from Gainesville, Florida, and I am 25 years old now. I'm about to be 26, so, you know, I'm getting up there. I'm a quarter of a century now.
Oh, please.
I feel that I'm 1/4 of the 100, so I need to really push the pedal.
That's right.
Time to go.
Well, you know, I read an article recently that said that most people in their 20s, God help them, and then 30, as far as entrepreneurs, and then 30s, you get some bumps and you start figuring out a little bit in your 30s. But when people really create wealth is the decade between 40 and 50. That's the real driver decade. But it seems like you've taken some lumps early We were talking a little bit backstage, and you were saying that you've been in business 9 years, is it?
9 years, yes.
And I said, you know, for an entrepreneur, every year of entrepreneurialism has got to be equivalent to 3 to 5 years of education, because it's a real education. And you said, well, the first year is like 10 years, and then every year after that's a few years, right?
Living it
so
hard,
we know
making it
exactly
work.
what you mean.
Yes.
But you've been in business. You've kind of passed the marker there. 9 years. That's a real accomplishment. And tell us a little bit about Fabulous Coach Lines. Exactly what you guys do. What services would you provide?
Yes, thank you so much. We're a motor coach charter and tour company. We specialize in groups, also educational groups, everything from church groups to family groups, corporate groups. If a person wants to take a vacation in a group, we want to take them there. We originate in all points across North America, but especially the Southeast, and some top destinations: Orlando, New York, New Orleans, Atlanta, and Washington, D.C.
Now, do you do different themes too? Like, okay, we're going to do a Hawaiian theme, or we're going to do an Elvis theme, or whatever. Do you guys come up with stuff like that as well?
We have done a number of different themes. Depending on the type of group, we can tailor a trip for that specific group. So, say if it's a group of maybe senior Baptist church ladies, or maybe it's a group of, then in that case we have a Baptist church trip. Absolutely.
Whoa.
We call that a Christian tour.
Okay. That sounds like trouble, but okay.
Yes, we do. Yes.
All right. Well, and what inspired you to start this? I know Gainesville. I've been to Gainesville many times. In fact, at one time I had an office in Gainesville, and it's a big college town. And so, did you? How'd you get into say, hey, I want to be in the transportation industry, or the?
Well, believe it or not, I never felt that I was really getting into the transportation business as much as I was getting in the hospitality business, and also the traveling business. So when I was in high school, I started planning trips for different clubs and groups and organizations that I was in, and I kind of became known as kind of the trip planner guy.
Yeah.
And people would call me and they would say, hey, Ray, we hear that you're planning this trip. We want to go.
You're the fun guy. It's like, hey, we need to have fun. Find something.
Let's plan something. I DJ'd parties. I did all kind of different fun things. But the one fun thing that kind of stuck was the trips. And eventually people started calling me and they say, hey, Ray, we have a trip. We want to go to North Carolina to see Biltmore Estate for a week. I say, absolutely. We'll take you there. And so some of the first places that I ever went, I actually went as the tour guide.
Sure.
The first time I ever went to D.C. or New York, I was a tour guide. I was reading the book as I get there. I would put the book away, and then you.
Let me tell you about New York. Yeah. Well, all entrepreneurs have to do that.
Yes, you do. You have to hide the book. You can't let them know.
And I bet you can you seem like you can talk to anyone, and you're so comfortable just being with people. So I'm sure everybody wanted to just hang wherever you were going.
The tour guide business creates that, but sometimes you're sitting up there and you say to yourself, there's no tour here. So you have to make a tour.
Right.
And you look up and you say, everyone on the left is the Chase Bank. Now, this Chase Bank built by Mr. Chase himself here in Manhattan, the Chase Manhattan Bank.
Yes, very nice.
Maybe on the right, now Bank of America. You're in America. Welcome to America.
I love it. You're great. Let's go on a trip.
I want to do one of these trips. I'm telling you, we could actually film an episode. It would take like a whole theme and do a Tuesdays with Dan theme. That would be phenomenal. Now, when thinking about creating this industry, did you realize? I mean, most people kind of start out and say, I want to tap into this industry. I have an interest in this, or I know somebody in this business. But you kind of were in reverse. You were having fun, and you were kind of socially planning things, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you got a business on your hands. People are calling you saying, can we pay you if you do this for us? So it just kind of grew from there.
Yes, believe it or not, yes. I always have enjoyed selling things, and I have always enjoyed selling things to people and collecting money from those things. As a little kid, when I was about 5 years old, I had a watermelon stand beside the road. My parents are watermelon farmers, and they grow watermelons. And I sat out there at that watermelon stand, and I sold those watermelons. And I enjoyed selling the watermelons, and I learned a lot about business doing that. Everything from the returns. Now, sometime a customer might bring you back a half of a watermelon, and I say, now, you brought me only half of a watermelon, but you wanted a full refund?
How do you buyer's remorse on a half a watermelon?
I'd say, ma'am, what happened to the half of watermelon? You have to return both halves.
Yeah.
or either only half refund.
Yeah.
So I give them half
A
refund.
bite, I understand, but when you sit
eat
there
half
and eat
my
half a watermelon,
half
good Lord.
$1 watermelon, you get 50 cents.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to hear more about what you're doing now, what your plans for the future are. I know you guys are really doing some big things, and the industry of tourism itself, I want to talk about. I didn't realize how big of an industry tourism is. But let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with Ray Land. Don't go anywhere.
Come experience Nolan's. Savor award-winning steaks, Greek-style cuisine, fresh local seafood, and an extensive choice of wines. Whether you'd like to reserve the large private dining room, enjoy a meal on an outdoor deck, or rock the night away in our lounge, Nolan's, now celebrating 25 years of exceeding your expectations for casual fine dining, live entertainment, and dancing nightly.
Real estate today offers incredible opportunities, low prices, and extremely low interest rates. Hi, I'm Amy Norris from Amy Sells the Beach. Right now, there are opportunities in all areas. Our team can help you put your money to work finding your dream or investment property. And if you're looking to sell, no one can give you better exposure to buyers and make your property stand out. Experience matters when looking for opportunity. I'm Amy Norris. See why we're #1 at amysellsthebeach.com.
Hi, I'm Dan Vega, business coach and host of the business talk show, Tuesdays with Dan. You know, every year I receive numerous requests for coaching and mentorship. I'm pleased to announce you can now access our fully interactive coaching website from your home, office, or phone. This amazing new resource includes valuable sales and marketing training, money management secrets, financial advice, real estate tips, tax guidance, time management tips, author and speaker coaching, plus much, much more, including downloadable CDs and streaming videos. Regardless of the nature or size of your business, you'll find this cutting-edge information not only invaluable, but amazingly affordable. For less than $2 a week, you'll have full access to over 2 decades of my business coaching and experience. I'm so confident that you'll increase both your personal and business success that I would like to offer you a free 30-day trial membership. There's no obligation, and you can cancel at any time. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back. I'm here with Ray Land, entrepreneur of Fabulous Coach Lines, and you've been in business 9 years, and you're 25, going to turn 26. So congratulations, you're doing very well so far. And I'm sure that you're always contending, you know, with the economy. As an entrepreneur, we know that success comes in waves. You got high tides and low tides, and I think the trick is being ahead of the curve, figuring out.
Sometimes all the way to zero.
Yeah, that's right.
Tide.
Sometimes that tide is like, where did it go? But I understand what you mean. But you guys are doing really well. Congratulations. And I was wondering, you know, we had talked about this before I mentioned with Sam, but a lot of us, when we came out as young children, decided that we maybe had an entrepreneurial mindset. We wanted to start our own business. Most resistance I see, and even with adults, the family is huge, man. They think that you're crazy. Get out of here. You're dreaming just like your dad was. It'll never work.
Yes.
It's scary to take risks. And, of course, as you get older, that risk is scarier and scarier when you got mortgage and kids and all that. It's
Sure.
more difficult. But tell us a little bit about your family. Were they supportive? Did you have to overcome quite a bit there? Or?
Well, the first #1 thing with the family thing is you just got to cut it out. Cut the whole thing out. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. You do need the support of your family, and it's very difficult sometimes when you're doing something new. For me, at least, it was. And my family, I just finally got used to them saying, no, Ray, do not buy another coach. I said, okay, that means buy another coach.
Right.
Just do the opposite.
Do the opposite.
Whatever they say.
You know, I think there's some truth to that. I will tell you that. Well, one thing I didn't realize is, you know, the tourism industry is a $1.9 trillion industry. I mean, it literally is $2.2 billion a day. And if you break that up, it's $92 million an hour coming in tourism. So a lot of people argue, we're in a recession, no one has extra money. But I'll tell you what, the statistics, they don't lie. People are out there taking vacations. Yes. They're out there having fun. And in a down economy,
life is hard. They have to take
That's right.
vacations.
In a down economy, you need escapism. You need, even if it's just a few days a year, you got to have it.
Yes, absolutely. And I take a great honor and pride in speaking on behalf of the tourism industry. That is an industry that I really enjoy being a part of and enjoy being a part of every day. The tourism industry is an industry that is both affected by the economy, but also it's a global industry. And especially in the state of Florida, because we have so many international inbound groups, you may even see in times of down American economy, you're seeing Brazilians, Chinese, you're seeing some other groups from South America, coming into Miami. They're coming into Orlando. And it's really a good way to me to boost the economy, actually, by encouraging international inbound travel, because the dollar is a little bit weaker. So it's encouraging international inbound, which is not only bringing money to America, but it's also bringing it in the pocket of the person, which is an excellent way to improve.
So anybody coming over here, for instance, from Europe, the exchange rate's in their favor. That little boost can help them.
As opposed to in the past, as you know, Americans have been advantaged to travel worldwide. Right. So at this point, we think that that's actually a good thing.
A positive thing, yes, absolutely. Now let's talk about capital, because to start this, did it take a lot of capital? How did you, I meet with so many business owners that are, or let's say startup companies that are saying, they think that they need millions of dollars. And when we really get into the nuts and bolts of it, they don't need nearly the capital they think they do. I know time and time again, I've met with entrepreneurs that little more than sweat equity, you can actually create something pretty substantial.
By all means.
But was it a lot of capital to get started? How did you come up with it?
No, it's 3 words to me, and we have this motto in our sales department, which is sell like hell. And constantly be selling, always be closing.
ABCs of business.
Always be closing, always be careful, always bring cash. Right. ABCs. Always
I'm falling
cash.
in love with you, but go ahead.
Man crush.
But we encourage, I talk to a lot of young entrepreneurs that are maybe thinking of starting out, and I think the only thing you can do is try it, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I've tried a number of different things that didn't work. I once was selling flowers beside the road, the fresh, beautiful flowers from South America. They would come in, but believe it or not, I lost a lot of money on those flowers because they would just spoil and go bad, and then I couldn't sell the flowers. But if they try something, the worst that's going to happen is not work, but maybe you win.
Well, and that's the thing about winning is if you always win, you don't learn very much. When you really take those life lessons is when you lose, and then you have to evaluate, what went wrong, and then you got to refine, tweak, and move forward. And another point that I appreciate you making is not everybody's supposed to be an entrepreneur. Some people are supposed to have a job and work for somebody else. Not everybody has the self-discipline, has the circumstances even. But if you have that vision, you got to try it. You don't want to live with regret.
And that person is a needed and valuable person. By all means, the different people have different things that they're good at, and that is the thing that they should do. For me, I just like to try different things, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but I'm also very much of a gambler, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Sometimes you put everything you have on one thing to work, and you try and you pray and you do with all your might to make sure that thing works, and believe it or not, most of the time it will.
That's right,
and
absolutely. And education, we talked a little bit about this backstage, but traditional education, there's a lot of broken things about it, and I don't mind saying that, because I speak at a lot of universities, and I'll go through an hour of what I feel like is fundamentals, and then the students are like, and when I say, any questions, one will always raise their hand and say, how come we're not learning this as business students, Right. And I know you know that as well, but your education, high school grad, you tried college.
Yes, I went for about 2 weeks, and believe it or not, I did not like writing the papers, the massive amount of papers. I said, why should I be writing this paper when I should be writing a brochure? Or maybe a letter, or maybe something like that.
Well, many entrepreneurs, they're not great students. I graduated with like a 0.7 grade point average. I just didn't get school. I wanted to get out there and get in the real world. And I know that 75% of big business CEOs and big entrepreneurs are ADD. Many of them have a hard time learning. They don't learn the traditional way. And when you try to put them in a box and say, here's when you're allowed to go eat, here's when you're allowed to do this, here's when you have to leave home, that doesn't work for them. So they're willing to go outside of that and accept more risk to not have to do that traditional, white picket fence, 2.5 kids, and we're going to go ahead and plan your life now before you even start it. So.
And you said something there, which is that, but in speaking in favor of some of the universities, the entrepreneurship programs in a lot of different universities, like University of Florida Go Gators, for example, or the from FSU, there are a number of different schools now that are really starting to embrace the entrepreneur. But I question and I ask myself, can you, in an educational setting, learn how to be an entrepreneur? Maybe not that piece, but there are certainly a lot of important pieces. Say, for example, financial accounting. There are many good things. A doctor, for example, where a college education is so important, but for motor coach charters, I'm afraid there wasn't anything.
And almost maybe counterproductive.
Waste of time.
Almost counterproductive. Now, real quick, where are you guys based out of now? Right now, you guys are...
Yes. We do our best to be based off of the interstate system, both I-75, 95, I-10, the Florida Turnpike, all locations. We try to roll. We try not to be based. We try to roll, move forward.
And if people want to get involved now and take a tour and go somewhere and book something, how do we get involved?
That's www.gofabulous.com and also 877-GO-FABULOUS.
I love that. Go Fabulous.
GoFabulous.com. There you go. Well, listen, we really appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you.
Come back anytime. We learned a lot. It's very encouraging for everybody out there. Ray Land, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good job. Very
Guys, that's our show. We're out of time, but again, I want to give a special thanks to Ray Land, also our co-host, Mary Kay. And don't forget to get involved in your local community and be forgiving of others. Good night, everybody. Hi, I'm Dan Vega, host of the Gulf Coast's favorite new talk show, Tuesdays with Dan. Join us every Tuesday where we'll share success principles and hear from your favorite celebrity guests and entrepreneurs. Check us out late night after Jimmy Kimmel and The Insider or on My 35 at 8 a.m. You won't want to miss it.